for the team. So there's a flash to allow his teammate to peek over the roof, and it's fast enough to stop the front man for Envy, and there's some information spotted. Mousesports backing up now. The entire Envy side are here, swarming the site, but Rox is going to get the first kill, being good on the pistol rounds today. Lowers the flank, being careful not to overextend through the smoke. Bomb taken down. That should be the round. Indeed, it will be. Instant trade by Oscar to finish things off, and Mousesports get off to a good pistol round this time, as opposed to losing the 4v2 from last match.
And it's so important as well on that CT side. Offers so much more comfort. It's so nice just to not have that situation where you can't get the nades. It takes ages to get your buy rolling in. And Envyus, they were deciding to force buy, of course. No bomb plant for them, so that is the logical course of action, as you'd otherwise have to save twice. Anyway, so here we have Mousesports with a forward setup. Dennis there, waiting to receive these players. Oh, the grenade out already. I put it switched in time there. But Oscar at least saves the situation. They go for two for two at the very least, which is something, instead of perhaps, let's say, a 1 for 2. And they get the information as well, so the rotation will happen. And there's so much time left on the clock, though, that Envyus could very well decide to try to actually just wait and add a delay before they push. And this, as you can see, naturally sort of gravitates, or rather splits up the Mousesports defense, as they suddenly have to worry about the entire map. And so this delay that is added by Envyus allows them to have a bigger advantage when they finally come into the site, because maybe there's more of a rotation. Maybe there's only one player instead of 2 or 3. And indeed, that would be the case in this instance. So that means that in Chris J's position, a large part of his job is to just act as a player that is delaying the opposition from getting onto the bomb site so that he can buy time for that rotation. That is one of his biggest jobs, especially now that UMP has slightly less damage on the ranges. He can't really afford to try to take too many engagements here. So there's the smoke grenade. Trying to use that to help with the delay. Is Molotov out of position though, and that's going to mean that the bomb site will be taken and that the bomb will be planted. In comes the rotation from Mousesports. And again, UMP and a FAMAS, not the best weapons for this situation at the mid to long ranges. Happy with the Deagle already taking down low, and that will be the end of the round. Envyus with the force buy victory. What do you make of that one?
I mean, that was fairly poorly played from Chris J. He had a smoke, an incendiary, and a grenade, and still he couldn't really do anything to, you know, even slow down the advance of the T's. I think he should have done a better job of using his utility to get information for his team, or to put himself in a better position. But that wasn't the case. Maybe his attention was split. And now Mousesports are on a force buy of their own. 5 pistols across the board, 1 smoke on Lowell, and just a flashbang on Oscar. On the other side of things, although Envyus don't really have a lot of utility left, just a Molotov on RPK, couple of flashes, and a smoke on XMS, so this still might be difficult for them.
Deagle, gotta be careful. Rops has a good angle. Flashed off that angle though. The few remaining bits of utility is used to take the bomb site, and they have yet to lose a player, so there was danger, as you said, Yanko, but it has all but been diffused. And the bomb will not be diffused, I don't think, in this round for Mousesports, as they have no kit and no real positions to actually be in a round-winning position. So Envyus converting very well, actually.
Dennis and Oscar can try and hold on to what they have, but take opportunist positions, as Oscar is, putting himself in a range where there's a reasonable chance of a one-tap, and perhaps he can steal a weapon away. But Envy are going the safer route, and all exiting the way they came in for the most part. That's nice. A lovely last shot by Dennis, and he has an opportunity to do yet more damage. Again, he's only got a pistol. S6 has got to be careful with that AK. Doesn't want to lose that. Although you can't play scared at the same time, so he will hunt and kill and get revenge for his teammate. Oscar close to picking something up there, but not quite.
So I'm curious quickly here, Yanko, do you feel like there's any value in the risk of trying to chase down these remaining players, because I feel like, you know, they lost 2 players, and that extra money really could have gone a long way.
I think it's way more valuable for them to just stay alive, and then just rebuy the utility for this round and try to have another flawless round, because in the grand scheme of things, in the long run, that will be way more valuable. Sure, the cities can save their pistols and armor, but at the end of the day, they're either gonna die in the following round, or they're just gonna end up saving armor, which is not the end of the world for you.
So you saw that flash bounced off the wall.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day
Yeah.
about flashbangs and so on. So that's the common flash where people just flash themselves, FPL mode, and then. But then if you look at North, they actually flash for their teammates in that position, so you don't get that warning.
I think that flash, people don't expect it nowadays to, you know, flash the CTs. Actually, I think it's used like sometimes maybe even like you throw the flash and then you peek before it pops, because the CTs are going to turn after they hear the sound cue, and then you can use that basically as an element of surprise, right? You know, that's how the meta game changes with the micro plays, with individual plays. You know, once something becomes common, then you basically try to use it against your opponent, because you know they're going to be able to
There's an
adjust to it,
expectation
right?
from both
Yeah,
sides.
exactly.
Yeah.
Similar to like when on train, city side, players play inside ladder room, but they still throw the smoke as if they were playing like from a distance, so they can bait out the T just to go down.
Well, we have a very fast push on the plateau there from Envyus, as Lowell is still in position though. And this is a problem for Envyus. They need to get some progress here. The rotations are coming in very quickly. This looks all but lost at this point. Lowell doing additional damage with another kill. A finish from Dennis now leaves only Happy. And Happy is not liking the look of this. The bomb is in no man's land. And he perhaps does not wish to find himself too in no man's land, as he waits for what could be a flank. There is no flank though. We can see that.
If only he had X-ray then.
If only he had X-ray, he'd realize that there's no flank. But his hopes in this round to win it are quite low, but we'll see whether he can do something. Of course, he has a Molotov, so he has the ability to deposition a player. Typically, you know, the player on statue, that's always a good shot. We can see again that there's a guy hiding there. How does Happy read this situation? Well, there's a spot actually. So now he has some info. He could potentially use the Molotov to try to bait out the player for a frag, but there's additional angles to worry about that could be covered from the other players of Mousesports. And you can see he's still worried about that potential for a flank as well. So there's the Molotov. Behind the statue, you'll see if that actually catches Dennis. A bit too deep, actually. Dennis will be able to just stay there safe, not having to peek. And you get all the information, and there's a double peek. Not too much Happy could do there, and that will be the round for Mousesports.
Another buy coming the way of Envy. And yeah, those situations where you lose 2, maybe 3 players trying to hunt a guy with a pistol, that takes money away to keep up pressure on the CTs when you lose around later on, because of what you have to rebuy. So 2 ways of looking at it. Value can be had from both, depending on your approach. What works for you as a team. Opening kill from RPK. Lowell is in a position of no return, and RPK is the can opener towards the B bomb site. Meanwhile, the bomb seems headed towards A, so they'll leave RPK. He's got half his health intact, and it seems they'll leave him to cause more problems for the CT side. Now you've got 2 CTs making their way, and indeed he'll get taken down. Now this is where you'd want Envy to capitalize on this advantage, waiting for the smoke to disappear. It's gone now, and they're losing the opportunity to abuse that rotation, as it's pretty much a stack towards A now from the CTs. So we've got a 4v3 on the A site instead of a 4v1. Smoke's being put in again, and Happy will creep around the smoke and take Dennis by surprise. He was maybe looking to abuse a pop flash play. So 2k from RPK on B, a 2k from Happy on A, and Chris J's got no idea what's going on right now.
Happy the entry fragger. That's always a tricky situation. I think who did we see it with yesterday? My brain is not working properly.
You should see a doctor.
Oh, someone got 2 entry kills on B, and their team went A. It was Ghost versus. It wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago.
Liquid?
Was it Liquid?
Think
They
so.
played Liquid and they played Renegades. And they beat Renegades.
It was
in one game.
Renegades. It was Renegades. You still got 2 entry kills on B platform, and Renegades still went. No, that was against Liquid. Never mind. The point is, the player on B got 2 entry kills, but it was supposed to be a fake, and then the players on A started pushing A, but they went through a smoke in middle, and basically that allowed Davey, who's playing for Ghost, to get those 2 kills, being boosted up on the ledge, and pretty much dismantle that push.
I remember now, yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, in those situations, you really need to realize the position in which you're in. If your player gets 2 entry kills and dies, you still have a big advantage. Even if they rotate back, you can just hold. You don't need to run through the smoke. You can just wait. You can go back to B if you'd like. You can just wait for the smoke and go away. You can fake. You can do whatever you want. But if you push through the smoke, that's where you basically the advantage you got from getting the kills on B is negated, because if a player is actually holding mid, he's holding that smoke, he has the advantage and he has the opportunity to equalize the numbers or even bring the advantage back to his team. So it's very important when you go for those fakes or plays where your individual, you're counting on him to make an opening. It's very important to be aware of the general situation in the round, right? How much time there's left. If there's a lot of time left, and sure, they realized it was a fake, it was just one guy trying to get a couple of kills, that's fine. They're going to rotate based off of it, and they're going to make the rotation and stay there for like 15, 20 seconds, but back to B. So you should always keep that back of your head and use that to your own advantage instead of feeling pressured to make a play.
Interesting thing here is that Envyus were the ones that took the timeout, so I'm not sure if it was a technical or if it was actually a tactical, because obviously they're in a good swing of things at the moment, just cleaned up an eco round. Maybe it was a tactical, which would be very interesting if that was the case. It was a tactical as well, so that means that Envyus have a plan for this round. They've sent XMS down the plateau first instead of RPK, and he's managed to find himself a deep position. Well, he looked for the player on the stairs, and meanwhile we saw Happy there creeping up the ramp on middle. That's really impressive stuff. Once again, short of faking this one. Happy in such a deep position here. They will surely not expect him to be here, and if he can just get a pick off, that's going to allow his team to burst into the bomb site. A flash over just in time to blind Happy. He can't capitalize on the element of surprise that he had, but he'll still get a quick kill there by the double doors, doing an excellent job here, able to do a lot of damage to the player around the tree as his teammates come in. He's done enough to open things up, and Lowell is now just the last man standing. He'll get taken down by Sixer. A pretty cool round by Envyus.
I think that timeout was actually taken specifically for this round. I think Happy saw an opening, and it wasn't something that they had in their playbook. It was something that he kind of had to improvise, but couldn't really, you know, say everything in the freeze time. So he took a timeout, explained to his team what he wanted them to do. RPK, you're going to be aggressive towards B again. I'm going to sneak through mid. The rest of you are going to go A holes. He got a great read on what Mousesports is going to do on the A bomb side. They're going to have both players towards A holes, and the round just worked out perfectly for
Oscar
Envyus.
actually, when Oscar was rotating, he jumped behind the wooden panels and spotted Happy, and then went back to hold an angle, and then Chris J threw a flash, but everybody got flashed. All 3 of them got flashed, but while all that was going on, the rotation being stopped allowed the rest of Envy to move up towards A long, and then the 2 Mousesports players were trapped.
RPK, true to his name. I'm actually not sure.
You mean really proficient killer?
It looked it looked like that to me as well, James, but actually I'm not sure if there was a T flash being thrown that we could not see on the screen, because it did seem strange that like everyone was flashed by that one CT flash.
But it looked like Chris J threw his flash over the wall, but I only saw it go up and not down.
Yeah, but he would turn from it at least, right?
I wonder where you could turn though, depending on how he couldn't throw it deep; had to be shallow.
He could turn 180 degrees, James, and not get fully flashed.
I suppose he could do that.
God damn it, James.
Anyway, both teams on the buy once again. Sixer pulling the AWP out, but it's Scream to steal the kill. So Mousesports having a lot of trouble on their C-type. 2-7 is a colossal failure of a score when you're on the CT side of Cobblestone. Trades, RPK getting the advantages again. 4 versus 2 for Mousesports. Roxon low or close, but what can they do at this point? Not much.
This honestly seems like a sick read, to be honest.
Both teams on the buy, but Envyus is on the gear right now. Just having Mousesports' number pretty much. And I really like this, the change of pace. Envyus is just playing really solid Counter-Strike at the moment. They're just one step ahead of Mousesports. To be fair, they're getting like a fair amount of entry kills, which obviously will make things easier for you in terms of executing. But it's not like those entry kills are given freely to them. They're also making those happen. So right now, everything going Envyus's way. Seems like it's going to be another eco round for Mousesports.
I mean, it's really cool to see, when you see a round like that, especially on a map like Cobblestone, it really does feel like it's heavily read-based. And so it could be that Envyus feel like either there wouldn't be an open play or there wouldn't be any kind of setup that would see that in time. And then all of a sudden there's 5 players exploding out of the ramp. And if the T's use the correct grenades in that situation, they're going to trade their way very quickly onto the bomb site. So
it might also be an anti-strat in a sense that they know for a fact that Mouse never plays heavy mid, right? They will they're either going to stack towards A long, or they're going to have just one player watching mid and one player watching A long, something like that. So they realize that brute forcing their way up mid, sure, they might not find any kills, and they may be in danger of getting pinched from A halls and connector / balcony, but if they execute properly, they can get towards the site before that happens. So once you get that read, it's all a matter of execution, basically. And now Envyus need to execute fairly well because Mousesports have the man advantage and also the AK on Chris J and the stack.
Anti-eco time for Envy. And Envy, they've got so much money on their side. Any kills in rounds like this are irrelevant. And again, in these dying rounds of the first half, if Mousesports win one round, then it's any kind of struggle. And they have shortcomings in their buy. Envy are certainly not going to. So the problems will be compounded for Mousesports. 2-9. It's not a good day. And again, these are some of the last matches they'll play in the league. These are really important matches for both teams if they want to make it. If Envy get a 2-0 here, I think that'd have to be an upset if they win both matches.
How many losses does Envyus have?
9.
Yeah, they don't have a chance to qualify for the LAN finals, but they're definitely ruining Mousesports' chance
gatekeeping
of doing so. Yeah, helping their French comrades because they're all still mates, of course.
We can stay out of relegation territory as well, which is always very nice. Because I think it's at the start of today it was 5 and 9 for both Envyus and Virtus Pro, and then below them you have Dignitas and Godsent, I believe, who have I think like around 11 losses.
Do you know what you have below that, Dan?
What's that?
You have the shop, the ECS shop. You can get ECS merchandise, which is on sale right now. Grab your swag at shop.csgoleague.com.
There's a 25% discount. What is the code for the discount?
What is the code, Yanko?
Well, if you remember Dan's password, you will know the code for the discount.
Nice. It is in the description, or it should be in the
there it
description.
is.
It's also there.
XJG,
if you prefer to copy paste, it's in the description.
XJG, FA9C58 BV5, and if you want a discount for the LAN finals, you have an S instead of a B and a 7 instead of a 5.
The troll code.
You will not see that on your screen, so if you caught that, good luck. You'll get a discount for the finals. See you there.
So this is interesting because we have a double op setup from Mousesports, right? And I'm curious how Envyus mix things up. They seem to have a good read on Mousesports so far. They seem to have
There's fire everywhere, Dan.
a play, and this could work out really well against double ops. Smokes, fire everywhere, as you said, and Mousesports are actually doing an okay job so far. Trade 1 for 1, but as things progress and Envyus take more ground, they just crush the defense. They wrap around it and they squish it. What is happening today? Envyus looks. Last couple of days, Envyus have looked like very improved. honestly.
RPK was actually at one point just shooting at pots towards the bomb site to clear his vision. But yeah, Envyus, as far as I'm aware, are actually boot camping right now. They've been boot camping for a couple of days, maybe even a whole week, preparing for the Pro League finals. And yeah, I definitely agree. Thing is, Envyus for a while now have had a good game plan on the T side, but their main problem was they would have a good idea, they would even get an advantage coming into the round, and then they would just throw it away. They would make like small mistakes, silly mistakes, and they would give the round away to their opponent. And obviously at this level of competition, you're going to get punished heavily for that, and you're not going to have a lot of fun. What seems to be the difference right now is that Envyus is actually doing a good job at not throwing away the advantages, and also an even better job of putting themselves in a good position.
They seem like quite decisive as well in their plays, which is always good to see. No indecisiveness, no hesitations.
You hate to see indecisiveness then. You hate to see it.
It is the worst thing you can have. Now, 3v3 here, as Mousesports are able to actually defend somewhat, able to win some of the frags back here, but Envyus have found a big hole in the defense, that is the A bomb site. There's nobody there. Mousesports thought it would be a committed B play, when in reality, the bomb will be planted here on the A site. And Happy has a great position. There's been plenty of time for Envyus to position around this, so this is going to be a tough one for Mousesports.
Making it slightly easier, but maybe not easy, to get out of the door, or at least suggest it. See Happy's focusing on it, but once again, Envy all over these rounds, 11 to the score of 2 for Mousesports. So the money sucks for Mousesports in this round. I presume they're at maximum loss bonus. Well, they have been for quite a while, for a chapter or two of this book. So this is a buy between the buy. Some Kevlar, some pistols.
The problem is it doesn't really matter for them at this point. Unlike the T's, they can't get extra money from planting the bomb, and they spend all of their money on utility and weaponry, so can't keep buying guns. They are on a pistol round here, but it might just be enough.
It's awkward for Sixer with the AWP. Scream's close to him as well, but Sixer is the point man. He's been left to try and finish things off while Scream just holds the alternative angle in case of any flanks. Okay then, Scream. Mr. One Tap. They talk about my mice.
They talk about your keyboard, James.
You talk about my keyboards. Oh, I
should
should do a parody advert.
You should actually make a t-shirt.
They talk about my keyboards. They talk about my keyboards. Do it in a terrible French accent.
That'd be pretty good.
Dan is like 1/6 French.
That's half French, according to him.
1/4 actually.
Quarter French.
They talk about my broccoli.
Alright, well, looks like we get another very fast play up middle, and it indeed could be, as Janka suggested, just some good game knowledge from Envy, some studying of Mousesports, and understanding their tendencies here, because another buy round from Mousesports, and they get completely surprised.
It's a fake. It's a ruse. It's all a ruse, Dan.
Wow, what a play.
It's an elaborate ploy.
How do you spell ruse?
R-O-U-S-E?
That's rouse. R-U-S-E.
That's like you're aroused. How do you spell ruse?
Ruse is R-U-S-E. Rouse is...
R-U-S-E?
Rouse is something else, yeah. Ruse.
Is it R-U-S-E?
Yeah. It's not going to have an O and be pronounced ruse.
Well, mate, the English language is completely full of inconsistencies with spelling due to it being influenced by many different languages, due to different periods.
It's still not going to be...
Well, because you were conquered by so many different nations in your day. We were only conquered by the Turks. For 500 years, though, to be fair. What can you say about that one?
I need to double check.
Well, there are some statistics, but the main statistic is that Envy have 13 rounds on their T side, and Mousesports have 2. And now it's do or die in the pistol round, so we will bear witness. Hey, look, we've got Mousesports with 5 Kevlars. Not even a single flash to go over the wall into B. Nobody wants to buy flashbangs. Oh, that's one way to start it off. 3 people in the drop, draw attention there. Happy will bait his team, but how many must die before Happy shows his face? one tap for him, but now he requires 4 more. Scream is still alive, but it doesn't look spectacular by any means. A crouch from Dennis will do the job. Scream down to the knife, and this is not a pistol round for Envy. Opportunity knocks for Mousesports.
James.
Hello.
James is correct.
I'm incorrect.
You know you are correct. You
Oh.
are correct.
I have a
I know I'm
very,
correct.
I have a very intriguing question for Dan.
Okay.
That question is,
Why do you ask? Why do you say James? What's going
James,
on?
I have an intriguing question for Dan. Okay.
which is like,
Dan Yanker's got an intriguing question for you.
considering this map is cobblestone, why
Cobbles.
did we talk about Mirage in the pregame?
It says Cobble Mirage on my card instead of Nuke and Cobblestone.
Oh, well, there we go.
Interesting.
Because I just remembered
Yeah, that's a good
you
point,
asked
actually,
me in detail about Mouse's chances on Mirage, and
So
I
Mouse are
answered
good on
you,
Mirage,
and
right?
now we're seeing
You know,
cobblestone.
it's just general discussion. Mouse are good in Mirage.
Why
so
did you
it's a
lie
big
to me
map, isn't
then?
it? Well, you know, I never said it was going to be a Mirage. I said Mouse are good in Mirage.
Yeah, you never said that. What do we talk about? Overpass now?
Okay, well, I mean, it is really interesting, right, to see Envious's map pool, because, for example, yesterday, right, G2 picked Nuke against Envyus. Envyus chose Inferno if everything was correct on my cards then. My cards seem to be fairly
What do you mean
inconsistent.
cars? You were actually casting the game. I mean, you were hosting the game.
Yeah, no, but exactly, but that's like what was on the information I was given, right, for the vetoes. So if that was correct, that information was correct, then we had G2 choosing Nuke, right, and that's a map which seems really comfortable for Envyus. G2 had a lot of problems dealing with Envyus on the CT side. They couldn't quite seem to find any consistency on their T sides, and Envyus just played a really strong fundamental game against G2 to actually have get a very good defense going on Nuke. And then here, you know, we see Cobblestone, as you say, clear game plan on their T side. Like some great reads, some decisive play, some routine. I'm wondering how broad Envyus's map pool is at the moment. If you could expect most of it to be like Nuke and Cobblestone. I mean, you already said that Mirage was a map that Envyus they're not really known for. So
It does seem like Nuke and Cobble are two of their most comfortable maps at the moment. I think third one would be Train. Fourth one probably Ash. Fifth Inferno. Then you have Overpass. Maybe Mirage is the sixth one. Overpass seventh, or the other way around. But regardless, they still have some work to do. The problem is, like, you would think like 5 out of 7 maps, having like 5 out of 7 maps in the pool, that's like pretty good, that's like pretty strong. But actually it can be terrible depending on the matchup you get in a best of 3, right? Because in a best of 3 you can only veto 1 map. So if you have 2 weak maps, if you go against a certain opponent and one of the 2 maps that you don't veto is their strong map, they can pick it against you, and that's
it's a problem, Yanko.
not a free win, but they have a huge advantage there. So
Yeah.
generally you need to have 6 maps that you can play at a reasonable level at least.
On the subject of huge advantages, Envy are on a bye. Why does that make you laugh?
I was wondering where that was going, and I also had an idea in my mind,
Oh dear.
which should stay in my mind. This is
See,
not. Is
Pop
this not Flash?
I've never seen it actually thrown. I've just seen the end of it. So I suppose that is. Look at that. It's perfect.
And they did throw the wall flash as well.
Do you know who you can thank for that, James?
Who?
Observer
Top hat
Sliggy.
waffle.
Sliggy.
Top hat and waffle. 8 rounds for Envy.
Did he invent that flash? Then?
Don't know. He invents maps though.
No, I mean Sliggy.
No, but I mean he showed it, right?
Ah,
James said he only sees the end of it. But
observer Sliggy, best observer.
there you go.
Now Slicky's showing me the base. Wall of smokes in the A site. Not every day you see that. The A site completely split in 2. All the kills coming the way of Mousesports. Happy has a lot to do. And I'm not sure how much he's going to get done. Surely the double peak is coming in from the balcony. Delta Force flying through the smoke. And that will be another round in the bag for Mousesports. So perhaps we are going to see a mirror of T halves from these teams.
It's very possible. I mean, Envyus, they showed proficiency on the T side, but the CT side is another beast entirely on cobblestone, and they'll go for a full save pretty much. We have a Deagle out on a couple of players, but on 3 players actually, but that's more or less it. And that's a nice boost, actually finding the headshot after a few very quick shots from Happy, and that's going to be a gun that's irretrievable, but that will make life harder for Mousesports. That means less grenades. That also means that they have to really just not throw caution to the wind and get all the players together, get themselves an anti-eco, anti-force buy type strategy that allows them the Molotovs in all the dangerous spots and just to push in as a team. They cannot afford to lose another man before they have put themselves in a position to attack a bomb site. And they're also kind of gambling towards B here, stacking the B bomb site, and Mousesports are going towards A. So it looks like Mousesports have made the right call here.
How do Mousesports deal with this rotation that's coming in from a CT side? On the plus side for Mousesports, CTs haven't made it to the bomb site just yet, so there are only so many places they can hide. 3 on 3, and now Six just picks up an AK, but he was low health, he was stuck by the APC, he was trapped, and he was flushed out eventually. Scream, trying to get something done, not really working out for him. I mean, XMS could entirely clutch around here because 2 of these players can get 1 digged in the chest. But opportunity will pass as he holds an angle. Obviously, it's going to be hard for him to realize that he's in this situation.
I really like that like what we saw from Mousesports with the 4 players, that situation where I was like, okay, they've got to try to attack a bomb site now, just get in there as 4 players. I really like that they just quickly went up middle together as 4 players. I don't know if you agree with me, Yanko. I think that's like one of the best possible calls they could have made in that situation.
I mean, it is, but it's always good to group up, but it's very dependent on what Envyus does, right? Envyus decided to gamble B, so it looked great, but if they were stacking A, for example, or if they had 2 players towards A long, Mousesports would be in a position where they could potentially get pinched from 2 sides. Still, it didn't really come back to haunt them, the decision they made. And when you're a man down, especially against an eco, I agree that the best decision is probably to group up, not get any more players picked off. See Scream actually in a forward position towards mid. But Mouse is taking their time. Saying that, Lau will get top flashed in, and that's
2 flashes as well. Not just 1, but 2, but it wasn't enough to take Scream down. Maybe they were too close together, perhaps, to catch him turning back from the first flash. 1 minute on the clock. I think this is the one for door, or is it balcony? That looks more like balcony to me. Oh no, it's a standing smoke, so it's not either. Okay, that's an interesting approach. Ah, it's the wall again. The wall is back.
Awesome. This is really cool. Six is the only guy on the bomb site to do anything, but you can see that he can't, there's nowhere for him to stand. He's forced up onto the roof, and that's where he will die. XMS, just slightly too slow there with the frag. If he had delayed in fact, if he stopped the bomb plant, this would be amazing for Envyus. But instead now the advantage heavily falls upon Mousesports. So that bomb is in the open, and Oscar, he sets his sights upon it with that AWP. And how Happy is left to save his. So yeah, it would have been. I would have been very curious to see how the round would have played out had XMS gotten that frag just before the bomb was planted. But for Envyus, it was not to be. Look at all the T rounds. My goodness, just all T rounds. 2 CT rounds, 1 in 20 rounds, 21 rounds.
That is quite something. Envy timeout. What do we need to change, guys? What's going wrong? We need 3 rounds. They need 5. They needed 8. They're on the catch up.
One thing that's interesting
They
is
need 8
that
rounds, not 5.
No, I mean, Mousesports need 5 to catch up with Envy's score.
Who cares? They need 8 to win, James.
Yeah, but one step at a time. Get to the same score.
But 1 step at a time would be get 9 rounds. Then 10, then 11, then 12, and then 13.
Well, your
Then
legs are smaller than mine. My steps reach further than yours, Yanko.
Many
So
things
you'll have
are,
to underachieve
many things
in
of
comparison to
mine are
Bardolph.
smaller compared to you, James, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know my shoes are quite large, but it makes it hard to find them sometimes. Mousesports moving to see what Envy have for them in this round, which is a force buy. We've got Happy with the AWP, XMS with M4, Scream with an M4A4. Scream with an M4A4? What is this? He's a silence player, that's interesting. I know Happy's been changing as well. Maybe there is something in the water over there. Happy with 2 AWPs, shots rather. On the force buy, this is an important, well, every round is important for Envy at this point. They really don't want Mousesports catching up with their score, and they've got a good opportunity to take over the line here. Rops with 12 HP, and now it's about damage for him. He's got $9,000 in the bank, so he's unlikely to win it, although never count Rops out. XMS with a well-timed flank will save further pain for Envy. And bearing in mind, they only started with 3 people on rifles. Surviving with 3 will certainly help.
I think only one force by round has actually been won in this cobblestone game, which is pretty cool. Like generally the anti-ecos have been fairly clean overall, I would say, which is pretty cool. I mean, if we go back to, even a year ago or even 6 months ago, I feel as though many more force buys were being initiated and also won. But we have Sixer on the angle there, looking for that aggression, and he's going to find it. A flash in, and that's going to push him off the angle. He's going to smoke the stairs there and fall back himself. He's now going to be playing, it looks like, from the double doors position, or even how far is he going to rotate? He's actually going up to balcony at the moment. Quite interesting. As you can see, Scream is holding things together here. This is quite an angle, really far away, really tricky angle. Almost looking through the gap there between the bricks.
You've got to be careful though. I was just going to say it's very easy to fall off the balcony when you're holding that angle if you get a bit greedy, as you saw Sixer was falling off, but he's moving very slowly, so he lands on the ledge and can jump back up again. It's a great shot by Scream onto the bomb carrier. That's info, and that's going to cause a rotation from the CTs. But Mousesports, they know the bomb's been seen as well. What will they do with that information? Rob's still looking for a lurk through from the B bomb site. That's a great shot from Sixer. Will they even realize where he is? There's a crouch from Lowell. That will pay off, and Happy seems he's been waiting for the flanker. But the rest of his team have been dispatched of. So he's got a decision to make. And indeed, this is the reset for Mousesports. I don't know how much Envy will have. Again, they did save 3 weapons. So yeah, their money is in the toilet.
They can still buy next round if Happy stays alive. He can drop multiple SMGs or... never mind. Still they can buy. Still he has enough money for an AWP. XMS has enough for an M4, and the rest of the team can buy pistols. Happy actually goes for an M4 instead of an AWP.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So is this...
All
yeah,
right.
this looks like it's going to be just a half buy.
Will there be a boost?
Or now Scream spends all... Wow, that's a miscommunication from Envyus. They definitely won't be able to buy in the next round. Unless they win the round, which is not out of the question. They got an extra rifle.
Ooh. That's nice. 2 rifles, well, 3 rifles in total. And Mousesports doing what they did last time things went a bit awry. They've decided to rotate towards the A bomb site. And Scream's there, he's going to spot this. He's close with the CZ. That's a nice smoke grenade. Will they run through it? That's the question. Looks like one will. Scream's got to be very on point now. 8 bullets left before a reload. And there's one frag. Another one can be had as well. Doesn't get the dink though, but additional damage done. Mousesports struggling to make their way up their hill with the integrity of numbers as they get picked apart here. But Dennis has managed to find his way up, but another trade frag is going to put Envyus in a great position. Oscar looking to make the difference with the AWP. A 2 versus 2 now ensues as we have Mousesports starting to encroach upon the bomb site itself. Pulling out the bomb straight away there gets Chris J taken down by Happy. Now just leaving Oscar in this 1 versus 1. Very doable. Tech 9 out. Bombs down, 25 seconds to go. And Happy spotted. Happy makes it happen. Oscar is going to go down, and Happy with a surprise for Mousesports. Envyus 15 now to the 9. And they are actually quite, well, they're getting lower on money, but they're still absolutely fine for a buy. Doesn't really matter at this point, as Envyus just need 1 round. That's an interesting one to win.
Yeah, another scenario. We didn't see XMS's first kill towards the plateau. Perhaps there was a flashbang there, but then the rescued weapon made life a lot easier for Envy. Second force buy won by them in this half, and now there's no more room for error for Mousesports. Focusing on the A site once again, where 2 Envy players will be. Some teams will field 1 player towards the A site early on, but there's been a lot of action towards the A area, so that's perhaps why there's a second play here from the get-go. Well then. Six has got 2 places to focus on, which is a shame for him because of the gap in the corner of that smoke is abusable. And it seems we're going to have Mousesports dropping the wall of smokes again. So you wonder what the approach will be from Envy, and it seems it might be a flank. Will Lowell's position get checked, however. The flashbang's in there, and it's easy for him to avoid. 2K for him, and that might be the round disintegrating in the eyes of Envy.
Oh no. Oh dear, that's awkward.
You hate to see it then.
You really do. You really do. Envyus
It's like
crushed.
your GPS has driven you into a farm, and now you're trapped surrounded by cows.
What?
Yeah, because he went into the Molotov essentially, right? So it's like he took a wrong direction.
Okay.
And then I just, made it Wales basically.
Wales.
Please continue. Yeah.
And
Once I was in Wales, right? And in rural Wales, and there were like
Wales.
70 cows on
Did
the road.
you find the goat you
I
like?
thought you talk about Wales as in the,
Sea whales.
the sea whales, yeah. I'm so confused.
What other whales are there then?
Well, he's talking about the place whales, but James and the ocean, he loves to get in there and talk about the ocean. And so I just assumed for some reason, as I couldn't make sense, I was like, okay, he must be talking about whales from the sea.
So when I said I was in Wales,
I didn't hear that part that you written. Anyway, moving forwards, let's see whether or not there is a recovery from Envyus as we leave my confusion to the side for 1 moment. I'm sure we will be returning to my confusion repeatedly throughout the day. Oscar looking to go for the entry frag here. I'd imagine that there would be a pot flash, but Six is actually on an off angle. Somehow Oscar actually goes for the peek there, gets the frag. Looks like he was expecting such a play from Envyus, who have a 3-man setup on the A-long area. Will they still be able to make good of this? Flashes come in and Scream picks up the frag. Oscar's in trouble, pulls out the Tech 9, and he'll go down. 4 versus 3. Once again, Envyus finding some success on rounds like this, and a desperation push up middle for Mousesports.
where is the bomb headed? There's a really weird situation on the flank for A, which Rots is looking for, and the bomb is trapped in connector now. We've got a B push from the CTs. Now Rots trying to clear elsewhere. This is really weird. Looking at the radar. Maybe the CT's abandoning, knowing the bomb is surrounded, but now the bomb is moving up towards the A site. Where is XMS playing? It looks to be around the APC. Okay, here he is. So he's got the sound cues from his teammates. Does he make a play? Indeed he does. I thought he might wait to play the numbers game. But there's an AK to be collected later on. Maybe he'll go for it when the bomb's getting planted. No, charging towards the site. Teammate towards the balcony. Chris J, though, still getting himself a 1 versus 1, but Scream with the AWP to take the match for Envy, 16-10 over Mousesports.
Boom. They finally got there, 16-10. What do you think,